Welcome to our YouTube channel, All America Selections, Flowers and Vegetables. Today I'm going to show you how to seed start peas. We're going to go out into the garden. I'll show you some trellising options for the peas and also some principles for direct sowing. Peas are cool weather vegetables. In most zones you can grow them in the spring and you can grow them in the fall. And of course today's September 10th. We're going to be doing a fall planting and you want at least 60 to 75 days before frost arrives in your zone. So look in your gardening zone, check out when the first frost date is, and then you count backwards. Peas are cool weather vegetables. They like upper 40-degree nights, 50-degree nights. They like 60-degree days, lower 70-degree days. So you really want the cool weather, and now is a perfect time to get them started. Some of the reasons that you would seed start them in containers and in these seed cells is because you may not have room for your garden in your garden right now to get them out. My garden is really transitioning from the warm weather crops to the cool weather crops, so I start them in trays and in cups. The other reason would be that sometimes if peas struggle, it's when they actually are germinating in the ground. By doing them in the seed cells, you'll get great germination, you'll have mature plants, and you can just transplant them right into your garden or into your containers, and you don't have to worry about germination issues. It's pretty straightforward. Peas are a large seed. You don't want to start them in the 6-pack cells like this. You want them to have more space so the roots develop. You can disturb the roots a little bit when you're taking them out of these containers. Here's some that I started. And you can see that the roots grow through pretty quickly with just one pea plant in there. They can be disturbed a little bit. But you want the bigger space. And it's quick and easy. You see you have some depth. You get a plant just shy of a ½ an inch. And the easiest way to do it is to actually just drop the pea right onto here. If you're looking for a wonderful dwarf variety, I recommend Patio Pride. That's a past All America Selections winner. And if you go online and you're looking for different seeds, if you type in All America Selections and just follow it with the vegetable, peas, tomatoes, peppers, etc., you'll see all the past All America Selection winners pop up. You could put 2 seeds in here if you're concerned about germination, and you could leave both in there technically, but you want to make sure the peas do have enough space. And you can see that we've done 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24 peas this quickly. Press them down, ½ an inch. If you go a little bit deeper, that's perfectly fine. The starting mix is always loose. The peas get to break the surface and do well. Drop in a handful. Whoop, forgot those 2. Some more starting mix. Now I'm starting these indoors today because it is raining outside and we have remnants of a hurricane blowing through here. But these would go outside. You're going to start them just like this. Put them out in a shady area if the days are still kind of warm. If not, put them in the direct sun. Let them do their thing. They'll do perfectly well. Fill up the tray about 1/4 of the way with water, bottom water. It's much easier to let these cells absorb water through the bottom and saturate the starting mix than it is to pour water on top and risk splashing soil around and sometimes your smaller seeds out. Once the water is set in here about 20 or 30 minutes, dump out the excess. And if you have these outside, because there's no hole in the tray, if it's going to rain heavily that day, you want to put these in a place where the rain won't keep falling on them, or it's going to splash out a lot of the starting mix and it's going to fill these trays up with water, and sometimes the starting mix falls out and the seeds fall out. It can be a mess, so keep an eye on the weather. Now, if you don't want to set up a whole flat like that, you can use containers about this size. These come from my neighbors. I tell them to give me all their extra containers when they go to the garden centers. Something about 3½ inches wide, 3-4 inches deep. That's perfect for 2 or 3 seeds. 3 seeds will do really well. You can just drop these into the ground as is lightly cover with the soil to about just maybe a 1/4 inch above the surface here of your outdoor soil in your garden beds, and these will take off and do really, really well. 3 seeds are in there. You can see the roots are coming out. This is really perfect timing. They haven't filled up this space greatly yet. They're growing nicely, and you could go drop these in the ground. These are about probably, let's see if I wrote it on here, 9-1. So these are 9 days old. So once you drop the seeds in about really 10 to 14 days, you want to get them out into your containers or into your earth beds. All right, let's go out into the garden and talk more about peas. You can start peas in flower boxes. Of course, for something with a depth about 4 to 5 inches, you want to use dwarf peas. These are the Patio Pride. They only get about 12 inches tall. There are only 2 peas in there. The other 2, these were direct sown, didn't make it. So one of the reasons that you may seed start peas is because I can get them growing, get a good quantity going in this, the seed trays that I just showed you, and then just transplant into the space here that was left by the peas that didn't germinate. Okay, let's go out into the garden. In a container this size, you can really grow about 12 pea plants in there, maybe a little bit more. Started that group of 4 in August, transplanted them in. They've been growing in there about 10 days and they're doing really, really well. With my other seed starts, as they mature, and some of the ones that you saw a few minutes ago, they're going to get dropped right into the corner. So I'll have somewhere between, I don't know, 10 and 16 peas growing up this trellis. You really want to make sure you give peas something to trellis on because they have hollow stems and they break really easily. Here's another space in my garden where I'm growing peas. These are just tree branches, about 4 foot tall, dropped in a line right through the side of my garden, just like that. And then on the right side, you can see a row of peas, and then on the left side. In between rows, you want to leave, I don't know, about 6 inches, a little bit more, 6 or 8 inches. And then go ahead and drop the peas in the line, anywhere from 2 to 3 inches apart, and just let them do their thing. These are peas that are going to get 4 feet tall, so they need more to trellis on, something with a greater height. Tree branches are free, so it's really, really inexpensive. And these are 2-foot peas over here. So they have some of my old stakes that I just broke in half, and they were just put down in the grid pattern, about 3 or 4 inches apart. Make sure, again, you have something for them to trellis on, because they do break easily. So as the warm weather crops are going to die out and fade from here, I've got tomatoes and beans growing. I dropped in some pea seeds about 5 days ago and they're already breaking the surface. Just did a grid again and you can see them coming up a little bit. As these grow, they're fine. They don't need trellising right away, but when they start getting, to a foot tall, they're going to need something to crawl on. I'm just going to drop a tomato cage in there and I'm going to let them grow up a tomato cage. This section housed cucumbers up until about a week ago. Nice large trellising system for the cucumbers, perfect for peas that get 4 to 5 feet tall. You don't need to do a lot in the way of fertilizing. In fact, I recommend just turn your soil over, plant the peas, and let them use whatever is left in the soil, from the season. These are planted about 3 to 4 inches apart, 10 to 12 peas along there, and they're going to do perfectly fine. And remember, when you buy an All America Selections winner, the proof is in the plant. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We never run YouTube ads, so you can get all the great gardening information you need without watching commercials. Thanks for watching.